13,000 years ago, North America didn't look like the world we know. Mammoths drifted across open grasslands. Giant sloths, as large as elephants, pulled leaves from the forest canopy. Saber-toothed cats moved through the canyons, unseen until it was too late. And threading through it all, quiet, calculating, moving as one, was the predator that dominated this land for 250,000 years. Aenocyon dirus, the dire wolf. And almost everything you think you know about it isn't true. By the late Pleistocene, dire wolves had spread from southern Canada to Bolivia. They were the most common large carnivore in North America. The Brea Tar Pits in Los Angeles preserve more than 4,000 of their skeletons, outnumbering every other predator combined. You have been told dire wolves were just bigger gray wolves. That is wrong. In 2021, Angela Perri at Durham University and Perri Mitchell at the Adelaide Academy published a study that rewrote everything. Dire wolves had not shared a common ancestor with gray wolves for nearly 6 million years. They were not wolves at all. For 250,000 years, the system worked. The dire wolves' world was a steady-state machine. Vast herds of bison, horses, camels, and ground sloths feeding the wolves that culled them. Generations passed. Ice sheets advanced and retreated. The dire wolves endured. To picture their pack moving through a Pleistocene valley, imagine a wolf you know and add 40 pounds of muscle, a skull built like a cinder block, and teeth designed to splinter mammoth bone. Then, around 15,000 years ago, something began to shift. At first, no one would have noticed. The Pleistocene megafauna began to vanish. Not at once, not in a single catastrophe. Species by species, herd by herd, the giants of North America thinned and disappeared. Within roughly 2,000 years, North America lost over 70% of its large mammal genera. Mammoths, mastodons, glyptodons, short-faced bears, 40 species gone. If you had been standing in a Wyoming valley 9,000 years ago, the silence would have been the strangest thing. A continent that had thundered for 1,000,000 years, suddenly quiet. Here is the question that has haunted paleontologists for a century. The gray wolf survived, the dire wolf did not. Same continent, same prey, same crisis. Why did one canid walk into the Holocene and the other vanish? Larissa DeSantis at Vanderbilt University analyzed dental microwear in dire wolf teeth. The scratches told a story their skeletons did not. They were processing far more bone than gray wolves. Modern hyenas are the only large carnivores that crunch bone at that level. The dire wolves were running a hyena's metabolism in a wolf's body. Most channels frame dire wolves as losers in an evolutionary lottery. That misses the point entirely. They were never unfit. They were the most effective pack hunters their world had ever seen. In the end, they didn't fail at survival. They were simply too specialized for the world that followed. Rewind nearly 6 million years, a canid lineage in North America began drifting away from the wolves of Eurasia. While true wolves diversified across the cold steppes of Asia, this lineage stayed in the Americas and committed to a different bet. Bigger prey, bigger packs, bigger bones. Watch a modern wolf pack take down an elk. Now scale every variable up. Prey 3 times as heavy, carcasses too dense to drag, bones too thick to chew. That is the niche dire wolves were sculpted to fill. Specialization is often described as a strength, but in evolution, it behaves more like a contract you don't get to renegotiate. Every trait that made them flawless hunters of megafauna was also a clause tying their survival to those giants remaining on the landscape. For a brief stretch, perhaps the final 20,000 years before the megafauna collapsed, dire wolves reached their absolute peak. Pack sizes likely exceeded 30 individuals. They occupied every habitat from boreal forest to subtropical scrub. They were the dominant terrestrial carnivore from the Yukon to Bolivia. At La Brea, dire wolves outnumber every other predator preserved in the asphalt. Saber-tooths, American lions, short-faced bears combined. 4,000 individuals, the fossil record's loudest carnivore. This is the moment frozen in their bones, the peak, the last good year of a dynasty. Then, the prey vanished. There is no other way to put it. The mammoths thinned, the horses disappeared, the bison shrank to a single species, and dire wolves, locked into a body and a behavior tuned for hunting giants, had no second life waiting. They didn't go out in a final battle, no last stand, no dramatic collapse, just a quiet breakdown in replacement, fewer pups surviving each year, until one winter, the last litter never made it through. The official extinction date is around 9,500 years, but honestly, we lose track of them in the noise of the Holocene. Nobody saw the last one die. If the real story of the direwolf left you reconsidering everything you thought you knew, this channel has dozens more. Evolution's greatest survival stories and its quietest tragedies. 2 new chapters every week. Subscribe to follow the journey. 4,000 skeletons. A sequenced genome. A lab now speaking in the language of resurrection. Past. That is what remains of 250,000 years. And maybe that is enough.